I refused to gain 40 pounds for my pregnant sister-in-law. My brother Isaac's wife Melinda announced her pregnancy at Sunday dinner and immediately followed it with a solidarity weight gain pact. She wanted all the women in the family to gain 40 pounds along with her. I laughed thinking she was making a weird joke, but when she pulled out printed meal plans and a shared Google Doc for daily weigh-ins, I realized she was completely serious. I'd spent the last 2 years recovering from binge eating disorder. I finally had a healthy relationship with food and my body after years of therapy. Melinda knew this. She literally celebrated with me when I hit my 1-year milestone of recovery. I politely told her I couldn't compromise my health like that. That's when her face crumpled like I just announced I hated babies. She said everyone else had already agreed to support her journey, which made me look around the table at my female relatives who were all avoiding eye contact. My mother-in-law jumped in immediately saying it was such a beautiful show of sisterhood and family unity. The next day, Melinda added me to a group chat called Pregnancy Support Squad, where she expected us to log our meals and weekly weight gains. My sister was already posting photos of herself eating an entire pizza. My cousin Rachel shared her McDonald's receipt with heart emojis. When I didn't participate, Melinda private messaged me saying my silence was triggering her pregnancy anxiety. Isaac called me that night asking me to just play along. He said Melinda was going through a lot with the pregnancy and her job stress, and couldn't I just pretend to gain some weight? I told him I wasn't going to destroy my health for anyone's insecurity. He hung up on me. Things escalated at the next family gathering. Melinda had created a chart tracking everyone's weight gain progress. She was already 5 months along at this point. When she saw I hadn't gained anything, she started crying and said I was making her feel like a whale. My mom took me aside and said I'd always been vain and needed to stop making everything about me. The real shock came when my own sister admitted she'd been binge eating every night to keep up with the weight gain demands. She looked miserable and bloated, but Melinda checked in on her every day and guilt tripped her if she didn't eat enough. Even knowing this, she still said I was being selfish for not participating. That's when Melinda revealed the real reason for all this. We were having dinner when Melinda started crying and said all her bridesmaids were skinny and gorgeous while she was going to be huge and pregnant at her own wedding. She said she couldn't stand the thought of looking like a whale next to everyone in photos that would be displayed forever. If everyone gained weight with her, she'd look normal instead of being the fat bride who ruined her own wedding photos. She needed us to make this sacrifice for her special day. My mother-in-law actually said I must want Isaac to cheat on Melinda since I refused to help her feel better about herself. The gaslighting was unreal. My cousin Rachel chimed in that I'd always thought I was better than everyone else. Even relatives who'd barely spoken to me in years suddenly had opinions about my selfishness. I left that dinner early, but the harassment didn't stop. They'd send photos of themselves eating junk food with captions like supporting real family. Melinda posted vague Facebook statuses about toxic people who don't support women. She even told people I'd called her disgusting, which was a complete lie. Then came Melinda's baby shower. I wasn't invited, but was still expected to send a gift. Halfway through the party, I got a frantic call from my sister. Melinda had collapsed and was being rushed to the hospital. She developed gestational diabetes and dangerously high blood pressure. The doctor gave her a harsh reality check about her excessive weight gain. But here's the kicker. Melinda blamed me for stress eating because of our conflict. The entire family agreed that if I'd just been supportive, she wouldn't have eaten so much. They actually convinced themselves that my refusal to gain weight had caused her medical emergency. When I visited the hospital to check on her despite everything, Melinda told me I wasn't welcome unless I promised to gain weight for the remainder of her pregnancy. Isaac just stood there nodding along. That's when my husband finally spoke up and told them they were all enabling dangerous behavior. We went low contact after that. The baby was born healthy despite the complications. Melinda never apologized. The family pretends it never happened. Last I heard, she's planning a postpartum weight loss competition for all the women who participated in her pregnancy pact.